Good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of Something More Than Gibberish. We're starting about 15 minutes late today because my co-host had some logistic problems with traffic. But nevertheless, here we are. We should get up and running soon. I'll just pin a comment. So today, our featured guest is Ramon Carty, or better known as Ramrockspeaks. I don't believe he needs much introduction to within this community. He's always ever so active with a whole variety of shows, from open mic and DMs to his prompt sessions, the time writing, which is all really such a good variety. But most importantly, on each of these platforms, to most of you who know Ramon, you know how supportive he is and most welcoming he is of everyone to the platform. You really feel like you've known him for a while, and that's quite critical on this platform, right? And you've got a handful of people who do that, people like Valerie, people like Arsenio, JC, and Ramon's right up there with them. I mean, he spends so much time on lives, providing people that platform to come and share their work, to have those chats, to have those profound discussions. So without further ado, I believe Gemini's in the room, and I think Ramon's also in the room, or Ram. So let's get this show on the road. Let me get up Gemini, and then we can. Gemini, are you going to put in a request to come up? And Ram, or do you want me to drag you up from the crowd? Hi, William C. Winters, Amazing by Design. Welcome. Thank you for joining the show. Okay, let's. And I'm bringing up Miss Fox. Now, if Instagram behaves itself, it should let us. Hey, how are you, Ram?
Not bad. How are you?
Very good. Look at that. And on cue, my co-host pops in as well. I better not tease her too much. She seems pretty angry over traffic, so I'd better take it easy and let her warm up a bit. I think she looks angry.
I
So,
think it sounds like a Bluetooth issue.
we can't hear you, Stephanie.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Beautiful. Hello, beautiful people. How are you?
Greetings. How are you?
I'm okay.
Ram, firstly, thank you for making the time and agreeing to come on the show. Really looking forward to featuring your work. I was just saying to the audience, you do so much for people within the community, and it's nice to give you this time to showcase your work, to share your journey into writing, what drives you, and just really showcase Ram, the person behind the poet, behind the work.
Beyond
I
the
must.
shenanigans?
Oh well, that comes normally standard with Gemini. She can't help herself. She brings in the shenanigans. So
No, I
you know
don't.
the the uh, what I really like with your work is the variety of your writing. I mean, I've read some very powerful pieces. One that stands to mind, which quite a while back when you wrote that piece about that Texas murder. I mean, that one grabbed me. You're spinning. I hope you're not going to drop off, Ram. I can see Ram spinning,
I can see him
and
spinning too. So he
yeah, and
may be
he's
changing
frozen.
from Wi-Fi to data or vice versa. He'll catch up. So how are you doing,
Uh,
sir? Hi, Miss Betty. I love you too.
I'm doing well for a rainy, wet Saturday morning here.
Rainy, wet Saturday morning.
Yeah,
I
but
would
it's a nice kind of rain. It's a warm rain.
good, good. I would say go ahead and to send the rain my way, but I don't think I want it. So No, thank you. You may have to
You
keep
guys
Rem
get
on.
a
I'm
fair
not
bit
sure
of
what's
rain this
going
time of year?
on. Beg your
You're not getting
pardon?
much rain?
Not right now. It's like clear, completely clear.
Well, lucky you. Long as it
Thank
doesn't
you.
rain tomorrow, for my golf, I'll be happy.
Of course. You only care about golf.
Well, we are still playing the rain, but it's more fun when it's not raining.
So
You
you
know
may
what I
have
mean?
to you may have to kick Ram off because now you're breaking up.
Let me remove Ram and then we can bring him back in. Okay. Now, Ram, I'll bring you back up. So he's now, hey, how are you, mate?
Not sure what just happened. I'm like, I could hear everything going on, and I'm watching myself frozen, and I'm like, this is weird. But we're here.
Here we are. Here we are.
Yeah.
I think Gemini didn't like sitting on that side of the screen. She wanted to get to the opposite side of
That's
the
it. I
screen.
think that's exactly what it was. I agree.
She gets very
What?
touchy like that, very fussy. So, yeah.
And then people wonder why I want to hit you in the throat. You just threw me on the bus for no reason. None whatsoever. None.
Did you just want to hit our guest in the throat? That's a bit rough. He's
No,
a
I was talking to
guest.
you. I was talking to
Ah,
you. I
okay, there you
wasn't
go.
talking to him.
Uh, anyway,
Uh,
so Ram, tell us where. So you were born in Jamaica and you migrated to Canada
yes.
as a kid
Born
or as an adult?
as an adolescent. Um, I came to Canada when I was 16. Very, very tender age. Coming from, Jamaica, British Commonwealth system, super heavy on the English and literature background. Um, Came to Canada 16, new country, culture shock, um, heavy accent, um, heavy accent, but um, the love for the arts was still there. Um, couldn't find per se an outlet um, at first, so I kind of put down writing. Before I go further, I was writing since I was I want to say probably 12 or 13.
Wow.
Writing for writing because I thought it was like a way to get the girls, right? Like a little bit of poetry. But then I was like, there's like a voice behind this that really wanted to get out. I was always an outspoken person, like drama, arts, debates in school and stuff, but that was still, I felt like it was still a facade.
Oh
I
wow.
think there was a lot of things that needed to be said in my own way, and not just to be, the imposter. So I just wrote and I never shared. I have like folders and books of written work. Um, got published in an anthology when I was 14. Um, I think it was a scam though, because I think everybody got scammed on that. Y'all remember Porsche.com? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody got scammed on that. But
Did
I
you
got
get
the
that
book.
book?
I did get the book, and my poem
Really?
was in the book. So I must say, hey, whatever. That was my first published piece, and then here we are, 22 years in Canada, um, writing, building community, the love of the arts. If y'all know, if y'all know me, I kind of bleed this. It's part of me. Like I write every day. I try to, even if it's a sentence or a line or a word, I definitely try to put something down on paper every day because that's the practice and that's the discipline that I'm trying to maintain. That's me on a short spectrum, but we're here to learn more about me, right? So I'll give you a little bit more. I'll give you a little bit more.
The floor is all yours. It's all about you.
So yes, Jamaican, um, big in the English language. If you are, which I know you probably are, Rainier, familiar with the British system of education.
I grew up in
Um,
it.
you're right. So, um, for me, I started. My dad is a huge reader. He's an accountant, but he reads. And then I was like, oh, what's all this stuff he's reading? And it was mostly like drama, mystery, and stuff. But I was really interested in all these things. And then he's like, okay, this might be too heavy for you at your young age. So here's the Hardy Boys, here's the Nancy Drews, here's the Nancy stories, here's the Aesop fables. And then in high school in Jamaica, I really took a liking to Shakespeare. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because of the humor behind it, because it was very humorous. I took a liking to it, took a liking to dissecting um, metaphors, dissecting underlining meanings in literature. And then I did debate. So then now I have to like build arguments and like speak it and like position it my for or against. Then I did drama. So I was doing acting and dancing and choreograph stuff. So all that now is like a smorgasbord of all this art stuff that that turned Ramon into Ramrock Speaks. Um, yeah, that's kind of a little bit. I'll cede the floor to y'all.
So your writing then started back in Jamaica.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It started in Jamaica, and when I got here, I wrote probably for about like 3 years. It was new country. There's things I wanted to say things I wanted to be said, but didn't have that outlet. So I wrote books and stuff, and then I stopped. I got really bored with the school system because I was ahead. Um, because I was ahead, I was bored in school. I started, finding other things to entertain me. Um, like the dance side of things, like as in the early 2000s, when the dance scene from Jamaica kind of got um, you know, introduced into Canada. I entered the scene. I was doing dance competitions. I had a dance crew. I was traveling around the area, the Toronto, Ontario, just to But did you get the girls? Hey, I have more to tell you about that, Luzzy. Um,
Spill the beans, Ram. Spill the beans.
so so yeah, it did get the girls. Um, in addition to the accent. Um, but I got into something that was, I want to say, like I considered serious at the time. I mean, early, like probably late teens, early 20s. Got into something that lasted 4 years, and I stopped writing. I completely stopped writing. I'd write like little sweet little nothings, but like I never really tapped into other emotions. It was more just, okay, this is for you. I wrote this for you. It was nothing for myself. And then because of that, I lost touch of that, and I just stopped, completely stopped
Mm.
until it ended. And then I was like, I'm not picking up a pen again. Um, I don't need to do this. This is I was all these things. For me, it's like I wrote all this and it still didn't save, you know? It still
Mm.
didn't save. I was like, how can it save me? So I stepped away from it.
Mm.
I just, focused on dance, focused on entertaining, but not necessarily writing. Um, then, I kept getting reminded that I inspired, like my god brother, Keneal. Um, Keneal wasn't a writer. When I migrated to Canada, he was already living here. So he's like, "What is all this?" And he's looked up through all my folders, and then he started writing. And I'm
Oh
like, "Hold up."
wow.
I was like, "Hold up, what's going on here?" And he's like, "Bro, I I'm writing because of you. How can you stop?" I was like, I guess that kind of makes sense. And then he wrote a book and dedicated it, like to my influence. And I was like, okay, so maybe I should like head back into this writing thing. So I've been on sharing on Instagram since 2016.
Oh
Mm.
wow.
Um, but the community wasn't as vast or thick and dense as it is now. I was sharing a little like maybe little quotes, little snippets, and then the good old COVID hit
Mm.
Oh yeah.
in 2020, and I, who am also, just to give you some of the things, founder of Six Poet Society, which is a collective in Toronto, which is poets, which includes like LG, PPP. It includes like Eileen. It includes your
Mm.
ferns, your fine sir poetry. All the people that are in and around the surrounding areas. It includes Cat. I don't know if you guys know Cat Sorrow, aka Mic
No.
Drop, Manila Mic Drop. She
Okay.
she actually she actually designed Arsenio's book cover.
Mm.
Uh, Yeah, so all those people I have that collective, and Kelly Mary McAllister, you've probably seen her
Yeah,
on my lives.
she's good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that was what I was doing, um, in-person lives, in-person open mics, and then COVID was like, you can't gather more than 10 people. You can't stand, you can't shout, you can't sing, you can't do anything. I was like, okay, so there goes that. Um, So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go on live because I see people doing it on live. Let's try this live thing. And the first night I had like 30 people in the room because
Mm.
everyone was trying to find something to do. And
Yeah.
I was like, and then we did that, and then I haven't stopped since. And that was February of 2021.
Yeah.
So, question.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have been running alive. So the first Mondays for the
Mm-hmm.
writing
Mm-hmm.
poetry battles, you all been running that since 2020?
Since So we're 2.5 years. We're 2.5 years. So 2021 is when Poetry Battle started.
Mm.
Um, I think I'm messing up. No, hold on. One, two, three. Yeah, yeah. 2021 is when Poetry Battle started. Poetry Battle initially started on a Saturday night. And it was strictly poetic devices. We going over poetic devices, giving homework, teaching what
Mhm.
similes and metaphors are, teaching what different types of poetry, poetic devices, and then we'll come on the next week and we'll take up the homework and then we start something new and then we'll have a guest. That's what Poetry Battles Mosaic. It was Mosaic Saturdays at the time. That's what it was. And
Wow.
the purpose of the name Mosaic was, there would be four people on screen. Mosaic, um, four people on screen and all of us are muse and we're using this as to inspire and share and build. And then
Okay.
yeah, that's how that started. And then I'm like, Saturday's not working for me anymore because it was just not. Um, I work my schedule is funky. I can work weekends as well sometimes, right? So it was getting a little out of hand. So I was like, Monday nights are a little better because I know I work 9 to 5 on a Monday. I'm able to come out and do this. And I said, let's do prompts. And Kenil was like, what? I was like, we're doing prompts. And 2 years later, we are still doing prompts on a Monday night.
And that's
Yeah.
the
um,
thing. Go ahead.
no, that's all you, man. Don't worry.
I was saying that's the thing. Having it on a Monday night works out perfectly because all of the other lives have theirs on the weekends, on a Saturday, on a Friday.
Right.
Um, Monday, it's like you coming off from work when you're here in the US, you're coming up from work and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait till Friday for poetry. But wait, I don't have to wait.
Mm.
So that was a good pick me up after Monday bashed your head in. So I think that
Yeah,
was a good choice.
it was and I think the reason also behind it is like we always say we hate Mondays, right? Everyone hate Mondays because it's the start of the week and whatever. But we wanted to change that narrative. We were like,
Yeah.
okay, so Mondays is gonna be poetry writing, and we're gonna share and we're gonna build and we're gonna. I think the biggest thing for us, for me, is to get people to get out of their comfort zone. Um,
Mm-hmm.
timed writing, I hate it. Okay. I was not a fan. I am a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like this. I'm very meticulous with my words and how it's used and where it's placed, and I need time with it. But who am I to host a prompt writing live timed and not have to do it as well? So I was like, okay, let's try this. And I realized what we started doing is instead of whatever it came to you, and I put it down. If it's a seedling, by all means. If it's a little thing, by all means, you can get back and you can work in it. And it's so much it's so much gratitude when I'm just on a day off or I'm randomly just perusing the lives and I'm hearing these lives and people are saying this was written in Music Monday poetry battles live. I hear it so often. I'm like, okay, this was birthed in this live because and most times people are like, oh, I never done this before. I don't like doing this, and I think that's kind of where I think it's great when everybody in the community is on the same wavelength, right? We
Mm.
all have a prompt, we're all writing. It's gonna be all different things, and that's what excites me. And obviously, like just having the people around and coming up and hearing, because I'm obviously, I like to read as well. I like to read poetry. I like cold reads. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
I don't know
Um,
why. I don't know why.
Glutton for punishment.
I'm a glutton for
Exactly.
punishment. A glutton for punishment. So yeah, thanks for asking that. I completely forgot about Mosaic Mondays. Not true. I didn't forget about it, but it kind of Insta was messing around this week. If y'all know, I'm just
Hmm.
not gonna just tighten the Insta gods and everything is good this week. But yeah, um, but yeah, that's the long and short. I know y'all have more questions. Let me not run off on a tangent.
You're not running off on a tangent.
No.
You're doing exactly what we're here for. But I'm sure the people who have come in would love to hear a poem.
A poem. I didn't know I
Yes,
was doing
sir.
poems tonight. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I've got to say, Ram, in that narrative, I draw so many parallels because I found the same thing in the first nearly 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, because I'd already done the work. I was bored, and man, when I came in back then, there was some racism here too, so I was constantly getting into trouble, smacking people out and things because I was bored, and so my poor old mother used to have to go and see the principal every term, literally, because I was bored, right? But
Right.
you also mentioned about Keneal. It's great how in us living our lives, how we can be the catalyst to trigger somebody else's journey. And in your case, it was your writing, and it's look where it's taken Keneal. Now, I say to people, in the way we live our life, in everyday life, we think, oh yeah, this means nothing to anybody, but you don't know who's looking, you don't know who's watching,
Mm.
listening, and picking things, and you can influence people's lives just by you being you. Like through the martial arts, when I was teaching there, I used to work with a lot of street kids, and you lose some and things, but most of the teaching, most of the guidance came from you showed them, okay, you can have a professional life, you can be that martial artist, and you
Mhm.
still can be in the street with you. You don't have to live on the street. And when you turn some of those, it was amazing. And some of these kids were starting off life, with drug-ridden parents and things like that. They were starting off on a tough thing. I've
And a
sat in
tough thing
kitchens.
already, yeah.
I've started sat in kitchens with a 10-year-old kid drinking Southern off the neck of a bottle. I'm sitting at the kitchen table with him, 20 stories up in one of these commissions at a government housing. The mother's off her face with her new boyfriend in the lounge, and like
Yep.
I'm a stranger in their house there. So, but in your influence, how you can trigger that. Now, speaking of Keneal, I also privy that so your fathers were friends before, wasn't it?
So my dad and Camille's dad went to high school and college together.
Yeah,
They're best friends.
yeah. And it's just so nice now that you two are carrying on this journey. I mean, you said your adopted brother or foster brother. Your brothers, more brothers than
Oh
words
yeah.
can say. So
Yeah,
that's all.
it's
Mhm.
definitely how
Yeah,
we how we live. And I mean, as I said, like Camille left Jamaica when he was 3.
yeah,
I left Jamaica when I was 16.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
So that was like 13 years of not having, we grew up like from zero together, right? And
yeah,
then just left, and then I came back, and when I came to Canada, I stayed with them for like 2 months before my family and I moved into our own place, and yeah, and I just rebuilt like this.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
mm,
It's amazing how as kids we can be resilient too, like a time means nothing, like 13, 14,
yeah.
15 years and you pick off but then as we become adults, they start putting, oh, why haven't you been in touch?
Oh,
Haven't you
yeah,
been in blah, blah, all
yeah.
this, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll leave the floor for you and hear some of your poetry.
Sure. Let's see. Who is he? A question echoed. He yields history from the scorched emptiness, bowled in bile, a gastric scourge of consequence. The grit and grime scoured from his consistent encounter with grief, he paints the world inconspicuously with language, cascading every dismal experience in black light. The naked eye strains to assemble resonance, the cries echo under muffled breath. The truth concealed in layered lies, his smile beguiles the pain, flickers on his brow. He's a work in progress turned poet with a burdened tongue, and now they question his intentions. Carve out inklings from inflictions. His words were never yours. They are the undigested angst anchored to a voice, the incessant acid reflux of trauma and observation, the monolith of inaction and stringency, unfiltered and clandestine. He is religion amid remorse, wielding venom from the holy urn of vocabulary, breathing introspection incendiary. He is Negro, spiritual, lamenting amongst the colorless, black, black, but not too black. He doesn't speak like the rest of them. Black, no, baby mama's black. Not shackled to the skew stereotypical view of ghetto black. Gangster black. He is a shame. Black. Inspired by love, fueled by heartbreak, triggered by degradation. He is an apostle, taking mankind and wisdom and parting crimson seas of introspection, oftentimes epic, sometimes mediocre. But he writes, penning passion into performance and poetry. He is Cupid with a brazen bow, rusty arrows, and no fucking aim, making the same mistakes after repeated heartaches, giving more of him than he ever takes. He's a marathon lover, paving his own lane. Ask him his name. Ramrock speaks.
So that was, correct me if I'm wrong, so that was a self-reflection on your journey.
Yes.
How long ago did you write that, or how old were you when you wrote that?
This was written last year.
Last year, right? Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
What prompted you to write that?
Internal question and self-reflection.
Mm.
We do this. I do this poetry thing weekly, in and out. Irregardless, yeah, sometimes we don't make it because life's sometime. But I do this, and I often ask myself, what is the purpose? What is the end goal? And sometimes you sit with yourself, okay, yeah, I want to write a book, I want to do this, I want to build community, I want to do this, and then what? Right? So I had to like sit back and be like, why am I doing this? Who am I to be doing this? And what purpose is my voice, and what use is my voice in this community? I eventually just want to leave a legacy. That's where it ends. Words are immortal. After I'm gone, these words will still be there, and I know this. So these were like internal questions, like, who are you? You are like, obviously, because I wasn't so much into the arts. Why are you not rapping? Why are you not doing this? You don't sound like the rest of us. You
I
speak
heard that
so
a couple of
well.
times.
You speak so well. Well, sorry. That's just me. Like I'm the guy who will correct everyone. Sometimes it's honest to a fault, but hey, it happens. Just I just love the English language, right? It's something that I fell in love with at an early age, and if I know, being a black man in the Western society, um, you're expected to act a certain way. You're expected to sound a certain way. You're expected to do a certain thing.
Correct.
Poetry is not one of them.
Mm.
Speaking the Queen's English, let's just say English. Speaking English. Yeah, just speaking English. That's my thing. Yes, I have my mother tongue and my dialect, which is patois. That will never change. That's my roots. But I'm not the ghetto, hundreds of baby mamas, or hundreds is a little extravagant. I don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. Uh, but like, I'm not the stereotypical. I'm very free. I'm a free thought, free thinker. I like art. I like these things. So who am I? So I had to ask myself, and that's what birthed that poem. Um, ask him his name.
Now, what I
Couple of
love, oh,
Hmm.
I was going to say the alliteration, your pronunciation, and I'm just staring at your mouth because I know with my Caribbean tongue, there's certain words and there's certain, I call it inflections, not inflections. What's that called? The sounds that
enunciations. Enunciations.
enunciations. Yes, there's certain enunciations that my tongue gets tied. If there's a repetition of that enunciation, if there's a repetition of that phrase or that sound, my tongue gets tied.
Hmm.
But when you were doing the alliteration with the P word and the way, like, you never really skip a beat when you're doing that. And I'm a little jealous of that because both my lips and my tongue gets heavy and my lips get in the way, and then I mispronounce the word. Like right in the middle of a perfect recitation, I mispronounce one word and people are looking like, yeah, my accent came out, the other part of my accent. So how do you control your tongue or
The
bridle your tongue?
I'm just leaving that one alone, Gemini, but whatever. Um,
You see, I didn't say
I'm here. You know I'm on the live tonight, so there's no holding back. Um, uh, sorry, so we gotta laugh. It is the constant reading, Gem. I also use a lot of alliteration in my pieces. Not inorganically, it comes natural, and I just like to play with consonants in poetry. I like sounds. Um, so yeah, sometimes I want to like drop off an H and put an H where it's not supposed to be, and a TH, and a TH supposed to be sound like D. I want to do it. It comes. I want to do it, but because of the years of practice and like art and like drama, right? You're having to do these recite these lines and stuff like that. You have to be like very intentional. So because and then y'all send me so much to read community. Like I'm reading all the time, so it becomes perfect. It practice, practice, practice.
Um, the lines through that piece, there were really so many profound lines. Well, it was right throughout from start to finish, and
Hmm.
I really believe in self-reflection. I do it on a daily basis,
Hmm.
whether it's for 5 minutes or an hour. I spend that time doing it
Hmm.
because to me, that's where my truth is. This is just noise,
100%.
and in that self-reflection is my growth is aligning this with what's in that inside, right? So that is my time for doing it, like, and I'm really so glad to hear you say that. And the other thing I align so much with, we spoke before about how with education for the first couple of
Hmm.
years,
Hmm.
and like you, that I can see why I connect with you so well, but in terms of like as a person, because I too spent many years of my life, and even still from time to time, I voice this where I feel like I'm living in an inappropriate time, like I don't belong here. I feel that because of that. I had that first 13 years of my life in the tropics, and then I
Hmm.
grew up here where the, the darker complexion people were the start of it.
Hmm.
And so I'm very much like my Australian friends, but I'm different. I'm very
Right.
much like the roots, but I'm like the rest of my family, but I'm
Hmm.
different.
Hmm.
and sometimes I feel like an alien in life, right? I
And
do.
you're,
And I
and
could
you're
That's
like,
really
because,
resonate with the lines in those poems, man, because I'm sort of hearing, damn, you felt like this, you feel like this, you still feel like this.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah. And Gemini, I
I,
think I might even said to you in conversation where I feel like all my life I've lived in the wrong time, right? And so that poem was
yeah.
really, there's a request from somebody in the audience I saw could you recite a poem in patois?
Oh, Lord
Who
have
was that?
mercy.
Oh, Vision of Verse. Hasta, can you recite a poem in
Do you
patois?
have a
Um,
poem in Jamaican Patois?
I don't have one handy. Um,
So let me do this. So since some people don't know what Jamaican Patois sound like, and St. Lucian Patois and Jamaican Patois are totally different because St. Lucian Patois, and both of them is a different language, a different dialect. But
mhm.
mine is a derivative of French. Could you say something in Jamaican Patois and then translate for us?
Or how about you ask me to translate something?
Oh, Stephanie, you look absolutely beautiful tonight.
Hmm. Um, so
As as
we're
as
we're
patois, as Jamaican patois as possible. As
we're very
Jamaican,
colorful. We're very colorful people. Um, um, when I say I'm very colorful people, like we would not probably never say beautiful.
I
It's just
know, but I know there's no direct translation for
so
understanding
yeah,
that there's
that's
no direct
why I'm
translation.
gonna give you I'm gonna give you
Oh
something.
Lord.
Uh, Stephanie, right off the bat, right? You even change up the whole name. Um, wow. How would I put this? You look beautiful
So
tonight, you
let
said?
me see. This
Yeah,
is I just jacked you up.
yeah.
Think of any other woman but me, because right now you can't have a straight face trying to say that. What would you say? Let's say the woman of your dreams, which is definitely not me, it's a parent, because it's laughable. What would you say if you saw the woman of your dreams passing by and you had to get her attention? But she's Jamaican and you
Mm,
need to say it in patois because you need to know you're talking about her and nobody
mm.
else.
Sorry. That's how we holler. Baby love. See how I walk down the road, I'm offer stop you know the tracks and say, yo, are you to have my pitney? There you go. Trans
Translate.
translation, girl. I see you walking down the street, and I had to get your attention and let you know that you should be the mother of my kids.
Wow, straight into it. We're not talking about courting. We're not talking to, hey, come
That's
and
that's
be the
the
mother of my kids. I
rawness.
love that.
That's the rawness of
You'll be lucky if they say it that sweet because they're gonna
yeah.
say it and they're gonna
They
have
got
some like bravado. Like
bravado and yeah.
so I have this thing about since I've been in the United States. And I say that from my view, when I came, African American men walk with the shoulder slump. African men walk with their shoulders back and like erect. But Caribbean men walk like they have a third leg. And that's always from childhood all the way up. That's always been the case. There's that sense of kind of like it's not even just bravado. That sense of confidence, like you don't know what I got, so like you need to step off and clear the way.
It rejection means nothing to us. Um, it's the law of averages. We are a very confident people, and we'll let it know, and we're impartial. So that's us as Jamaicans.
I was reminded when I went back to my island just how much they believe in the law of averages, because I had 6 men approach me the same way walking down the sidewalk. Hello, girl. Look at you. Hello, beautiful. How are you doing today? I'm like, Lord have mercy. Just make them stop.
So
And if you
you
pass
hit
by
a
6 days a week, they'll say it's 6 days a week. They're
Right.
persistent. Persistent.
yeah. You hit a key word there, confidence. That I have found so many more people, more than less people, fail to achieve or follow their dreams, or is their lack of confidence in themselves.
Hmm.
So that confidence is quite critical.
Very.
Yeah. You know, like when I took off around this continent on a bike for 10 years, gave up a really good career with defense science. Most people who I knew said, "Oh man, you should be on a psychologist's couch. What are you doing? You're walking away from this and that." Those same people 10 years later said, "Man, it's the best thing you ever did." Like, and they hadn't changed. They were still sitting at their desk, still mentally, and they hadn't
Hmm.
grown. And they'd seen the change in me, and they said, "This is the best thing you'd ever done." Now, from 10 years from being, I should be on a psychologist's couch to the best thing I ever did, like,
Amazing.
and like the only why didn't a lot of them sort of follow any of that? Lack of confidence,
That's
lack
true.
of lack of belief, especially when you studied, your parents, as you say, go study, get yourself. And I was a really, great career with defense science and technology.
Hmm.
Walked away walked away from it. Oh, they gave me 20 months off to travel, wasn't ready to come back, resigned, kept traveling. So, that
Wow.
confidence in that is a key thing. If people can hold that belief in themselves, nothing's impossible.
And that's also my mantra, um, with the shows that I do, be it the open mic or the prompt writing or the pop-ups. It's like trust yourself.
Mm, mm,
Um, I mean, and read.
mm.
I tell people you can't be, and like, if y'all hate me for saying this, just be okay with it, right? You can't be a good poet if you're not a reader. You can't be a good poet if you're not a if you don't like to interest, as you said, like, introspection is important.
Mm.
It depends on what kind of poet you're trying to be. I mean, that's different, but when it comes to the confidence piece, when I do the prompt writing, I always get the DMs like, "Oh, Ramon, I can't do this," or "I've never done this before," or "I need more time," or um, "I don't do prompts." Okay, neither did I.
Mm.
Now I'm like a prompt dealer. Right? It's I never did it. And trust your pen without the extra noise in the
Yeah,
background sometimes, right? Like, right, let it out. You
yeah,
can go back and look at it after, but you'd be so surprised what comes out in 8 minutes or 10 minutes, and you're like, you look back at it, you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe I wrote this. It's
yeah.
because you don't have that extra, that those shoulder. There's a prompt pip.
Yeah.
That's right,
Uh,
Steve.
the shoulder puppets that you just saying, hey, nah, man, you need more time, or nah, you need to sit with this for a bit. You let to let it breathe. You need to do this. This prompt, it's not speaking to me. Well, the prompt speaks just right, And I think that confidence piece that is huge, is what I really, really try to instill with the show.
Well,
So,
your prompt dealing business must be thriving, because on my other open mics with the Origin of Thought and things like that, or even perusing through people's
Hmm.
posts, the number of times I see, written for a prompt by Ram, or a battle by Ram Road. And I'm thinking, this is a thriving business. If that was gold or drugs, man, you'd be a rich man. You know what
Oh,
I
Lord
mean?
have mercy.
I would be loaded.
Yes.
So
Love it.
speaking of confidence, Ram, so is you write on a range of subjects.
Mhm,
There's nothing that I've seen you stare away from.
mhm.
Do you have a poem that tested your confidence, whether it was in the subject matter or in your ability to write about it?
I'm, oops, 1 second. This is part of the work job. 1 second.
Uh, so, ladies and gentlemen, Ram is in a portion of industry where around the holidays, he is very sought after. So this is probably his busiest time of the season, which is Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we are very fortunate to have Ram here. So
I'm
now that
back.
he's done, now he's done taking a work call, here he is again. So
Um, Something that tested. So in the sense of, because yes, I definitely do try to write on many different topics, but because I have a soul, there's certain things that like really bother me, even though I'm not directly affected by it. And you brought it up, Rainier, earlier. It's the mass shootings. Not to say that, we don't have injustice and stuff in Canada, but it's not as rampant. Even if it's subliminal, it's not in my face. But it's not something that I really got into until like I read about it. I read about it. I did essays on it. I did all these things on certain things. But what really tested me is trying to, you know, strip away the academia in the poetry and just let the emotions flow when those
mm,
things hit. And that for me was the biggest thing, because as someone who studied the English language, how do I write without inputting the poetic devices and all these things? That's what tested me. Maybe like the Uvalde mass shooting, or the Buffalo supermarket shooting, or just the George Floyd stuff,
mm,
stuff like that. Um, yes, I'm a black man who will write about social injustice and just, but me having to, it was it was so, it was testing, you know, it was testing, because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to say something, but I'm trying to make, I want this voice to be not for a specific group of people. I want this to be for everybody. And how do I do this? Because I've heard many times she's like, I didn't quite get it, or or it's so layered, or it's obscure. I'm like, well, read a book, or grab a dictionary or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But that's probably the only that I can probably share that one if you want.
yes,
Yes.
please. And the thing with like a lot of people rush to write those things because they're driven by emotion to and for me, I suspend my reaction and my writing and my sharing
Hmm.
because I want to make sure that emotion is focused and not just something that just comes off as just another shouting voice in the crowd. It needs to be heard and understood and felt. So to hear that you have to suspend the academia part of it to allow your emotion to come through and still try to have that focus is beautiful. Because
Hmm.
I don't have the academia part of it. Like I forgot half of what they taught about poetic devices when I was in high school and college.
Mm. I hear
Yes.
you. There's a couple of them, but let's do this one. No more tears left to cry.
Mm.
The land wails as she looks upon her current state of affairs, questioning where she went wrong. Inhumane injustice has occurred for far too long. Each teardrop carries the blood of 10 more graves to dig. 10 more empty shopping carts, 10 more orphans, 10 more widows and widowers, 10, 10, 10 no more. Crimson is now synonymous with racism. Soaked in brine, life melanated isn't being preserved. What more trials must we endure? Black tears never get the chance to dry. We are burying more than we are birthing. It's like a subliminal genocide initiative. Can't we just live? Please let us live. Haven't we borne enough burdens? We pray that in our lifetime we will see an end, but so did our forefathers and their forefathers before that. The pain pulsates, the nonchalance invigorates. Is our advocacy and marching in vain? We've been crying for rights, crying for something we already deserve. Didn't we already pay for equality? Or was it a false sense of freedom? Has slavery become cyclical? The right to bear arms is actually the right to oppress Black and Indigenous. How much more of our blood must water the earth? How much is more? The promise of free has been a filtered fallacy. We just want to live. Please let us live. Can we just live? We just want to live. Please, please, please. We're running out of tears. Our tear ducts are gradually becoming filled with blood. Ramrock speaks.
Man, right from the very first line of no more tears left to cry, and the line there in between, the black tears never get the chance to dry. So many powerful, really. If you were into self-reflection and you ask these as questions of yourself, any perpetrator, anybody involved in it, it just can't go on. Like, please, can we just live? We're running out of tears.
Yeah.
If I can put myself in the other person's shoes and ask myself that question, then how could I perpetrate against that other person?
That one
Man,
still gets me.
yeah, man, I love the power of your words and the way you're in your recital. You deliver that emotion behind it as well. You know, And you said something key before about not letting academia get in the way of the poetry. I specifically do two things. Number one is I would never swap a word for a better rhyme if it deviates from the emotion I want to convey. Because that rhyme means nothing to me, right? The other thing I do, you were talking about reading people. I read other poets, but I don't, even famous poets, I don't read any poet exhaustively because I don't want them to influence me, my style. I don't want to read Shakespeare exhaustively because I don't
Right.
want Rainier to any trace of his style to affect Rainier's writing.
Right.
But I read a wide variety of people, but I never exhaustively read a famous poet for that reason. Because to me, that's important. Not to every poet, and it's not saying that it should be, but to
Right.
me, I want to retain that emotion of the message I want to convey, so I would not deviate from a word, you know. And you do that so well. You really hone in on the really powerful question, the really powerful prompts to really self-reflect on, you know, in that message.
Hmm.
Really do love that in that piece. And funnily, you know, like as you said in this poem itself, if you were to look back history into indigenous people who inhabited lands, like in Australia, indigenous people have
Hmm.
been, they thought it was 40,000 years ago, but now they're finding evidence that they were 60,000 years ago. But it's not synonymous just to here, it's globally, right? Back in the day, in caveman days, in indigenous man days, before the settlers even came in, people killed for land, for food, for love, for racism, even amongst the tribes. And this is a goddamn big continent, and like there was plenty of space, but they still fought and killed. No different
Hmm.
to the American Indians, right? No
Hmm.
different to the Maoris in New Zealand. Anywhere, wherever you go.
True.
But 40, 50,000 years later, we still have wars for land, for power, for
Well,
dominance, for religion, for food. Have we? Funnily, that came up because I wrote you know, I don't normally get a chance or don't write poems. And one day I was in a show and there was something about the bomb scream or something, and I wrote a little haiku. I've got that done in a post to post it, and my caption is exactly what I just said. Indigenous man fought for certain reasons. 60,000 years later, we're still fighting for those reasons. Have we grown? Have we developed? We give it fancy labels of justification. We give it fancy labels and, you know, we find justifications that, oh, this is, we had to do this because of that. But at the end of the day, you cut the bullshit, you cut the chaff from the bullshit, pardon
right.
my expression. It's the same freaking reasons that people were fighting for 60,000 years ago that we're fighting today.
Today.
Right? Have
Today.
we grown? I ask you, have we grown? Have we developed as mankind, as people? My answer,
Oh,
no, we haven't.
and I would agree. I would agree that we have not grown, but I would disagree concerning the indigenous and concerning the fighting, because there's a difference between two people being almost on equal level, spears, stones, and other tools to fight, than someone already having the upper hand. They have
Mm.
the infrastructure, the law, they have the social standing, they have the money, and then to still be beating down on those that they have already found everywhere conquering. When you said the 10, the thing about when something happens and when a poet writes about it or historian writes about it, the significance of small things only be felt by the people who have experienced it or it affected the most. You did not mention which incident. You did not mention
Mm.
where. you did not mention who. Instantly, I knew it was the Walmart shooting where 10 people got killed that looked like me instantly. And the repetition of that 10, it was basically to signify the the enormity of it. It wasn't just a number. It
Mm.
was 10 individual lives with individual lives attached to it and the impact that it had and the shock waves that it sent. And then to go back to the anguish that it caused, not just the people directly involved, but every single person that has witnessed, has felt, and who's experiencing it. People talk about the past, and this is a beautiful. Now I'll get off my soapbox after this.
No.
The beautiful thing about psychology and about mental health right now, it's been hard going through that journey because of what you shared. Because when it comes to mental health and that type of pain, there's historical trauma and there is everything else that brings in. That poem signified everything that has happened is still happening, and everything we see will continue happening. It's like you cannot catch a breath. You're held underwater. You get the 13th Amendment. You get like, how I call it, abolition of slavery. So you get
Mm-hmm.
one breath. They hold you back for another year, another few years. You get civil rights. They hold you down again. So it feels like you can never catch your breath. It feels like you're always crying. And
Mm.
the feeling, the emotions in that poem, it squeezed out everything you felt. The pauses were powerful because it's almost like the pauses signify time.
Time.
It allows you to think about what was said and feel what was said without pointing the finger at anyone. And anyone listening should be able to understand 10, 10 more plots, no more tears to cry. Our tears are turning to blood. This is the anguish that is felt.
Yep.
So I know it took a lot out of you to share that poem.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that poem and for delivering the way that you did. Because I could see, I tried everything not to cry. I could see how much was taken out of you because asking someone to do something like that is reliving the emotion. You see, there my tongue goes again. Reliving the emotion that it took for you to write that poem in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for reliving that emotion with us and allowing us to feel with you.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Gemini. It's great to be able to write about a specific item, but write it in a way it's not specific. Tomorrow, if there's 100 dead bodies, you can still relate to the same references of the poem where you captured the 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was about a Walmart. Tomorrow, it could be about some other place. Could be another nation. Could be anything. The same questions are valid. The same sentiments are valid through, and writing it in that way. And as Gemini said, really, thank you for sharing that. And some of those pieces are very challenging to read, and particularly on a platform. And thank you for doing that. Have you? So you said you got some work in an anthology. Have you got your own books out as well?
No, I
When,
don't.
when, Ram, when, Ram,
But
when.
okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. It is ready. Okay.
Do I hear
I
perfectionist procrastination? I hear,
All right.
I hear
So
perfectionist procrastination.
this is real now. This is raw. This is Ram. Y'all gonna find this out about me. She knows already. I am stubborn. um,
Finally, he admits it.
I'm stubborn when it comes to my work. I have gotten so much advice on how to get editors and aggregators and etc. and this and that. And I hear y'all. Trust me, I know it is the thing to do, but I don't trust anybody with my work.
Yes.
So it took, this book could have been done since the summer. Um, but every time I went back, I saw something I didn't like anymore. Or I saw something, a spelling mistake, or I saw some, and I kept going. I came from Jamrock. What's up, Darren? Um, I saw something. So, and then I've changed the cover like 3 times, which was important because however I'm publishing it, which will be through a bunch of different places because I want different, I want to be everywhere, including my own website. But your book cover has to look good in a top in a thumbnail. A lot of people don't look at that. Think about that. It has to look good in a thumbnail. I've had the book designed so many times. Finally, I found one person who caught my idea. I was like, all right, someone from the community. So
Nice.
the book cover is in the process. I already have my ISBN. I already have I already have all that stuff. Um, I just need to be like, go. And yeah, it's stubborn, but like I'm being held accountable now. Um, because I made excuses. I was like, I don't like this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm being held accountable now. So let's just say, um, in the first quarter of next year, and that's all I will say. In the first quarter of next year, this book will be on shelves, online, on my website.
Yay.
Uh,
So 2024 it is.
and it's a good year because it's a big year for me as well. So,
Well, I can't say anything because this is the pot calling the kettle black. If y'all don't know what the pot calling the kettle black, look at videos of Caribbean people cooking on charcoal or camping videos. You'll know what the pot calling the kettle black means. Because they go over the same fire and they look just the same.
right.
But no, like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
And it's funny because I've helped so many people with theirs.
Don't worry, you're
with
gonna be you're gonna be helping me with mine because I don't
with
know what to
their
put in mine.
with their books. So when they're like, so when is yours? Where's yours? When is yours? I was like, it's coming. Um,
Yeah.
uh, you know, but the thing is, like, I've already have like 3 ready to go at this point because of the because of like I had to like strip like at one point I had like over 100 pieces, and I'm like, I'm not putting this in one book. I really need to leave some for someone else, right? Like, so I took them out, and then I started another like a part 2. So like, it's gonna be
Mm.
like a trilogy. The first, it's gonna be like a series, and then yeah.
Nice,
Also,
nice.
also trying to work on like a screenplay. So once again, like, there's so much I'm trying to work on. So don't worry, y'all. Y'all will know what it will be in everybody's face. I'm not one
If
of
you
those shy ones. I'm gonna be like, hey, my book.
okay, I am willing to act for less than nothing, close to nothing. I'm willing to go and be part of your screenplay. I'm going to say that right now, just in case anybody else have their hand up. Just
All right.
Um, I, what I could say, Ram, I fully understand with editing, particularly with poetry, because there's no strict grammatical rules or
Hmm.
in. I like to, and sometimes there's moving a comma can change the whole context of the
Yes.
thing, right? So for that, I do not get a professional editor for that.
Yeah.
What I have done though for picking up a couple of those,
Other
the
eyes.
words spelt the same way but give a different meaning. Like sometimes you can read and read and read and read and miss the damn thing. So what I do is get like a close friend to
A read
just do
them.
a proofread, pick up those dumb spelling mistakes that you keep glimpsing over.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the actual editing, I like doing my own too, because you can change so much even in your recital or when you're reading it in your mind just by putting a wrong comma in the wrong place, or not putting a comma, or putting a comma where it doesn't even need to go,
It doesn't
but
even
in
need
a
to be.
poetic sense, yeah.
Look, I
Or the
guess I got an
words too.
anxiety attack when you said comma, I got an anxiety attack because I imagine someone, an editor, sitting and trying to put one of my spoken word poems into proper English and changing words and removing lines. I have hives now.
No, it is very true. I've had people look over, right? That's
Yeah.
for sure. And they caught stuff that I didn't catch. But the thing is, um, that comma placement, and I don't know if y'all noticed, I stepped away from caps in my poetry. I just wanted it to be all lowercase.
I
I don't know
saw
if you
that.
I don't know if you realize that there's a reason behind
Was it
that.
just an excerpt? Because I thought it was just an excerpt of the poem. That's why you put
I
lowercase.
used to do the excerpts and it was like that, and then I was like, um, I'm not OCD, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to certain things. I want everything to look the same. Uh, plus, it was big on. It's something that I don't want to say steal, but it's something that I've imitated from like older poets.
Okay.
There were some old poets that did it, that never capitalized. Um, and once again, if you go back into the academia side, I did read a lot of poetry and I did read a lot of literature. So, yeah, you know this already, Jem, but y'all don't know. I'm I'm big on the Plaths. I'm big on the the Hughes. I'm big on
Yeah.
The Sexton, the Frost, the
I thought you didn't like
Wordsworth.
frogs.
I'm not a fan, but I'm big on it. I'm just you're a fan. I'm not. Uh,
Okay, we're not even going to leave my guy Frost alone. He ain't never. If y'all don't know, we're talking about Robert Frost. He's not a big fan of Robert Frost, which I am, but I'm a big fan of Langston Hughes as well. I mean, really.
you have OCD and I'm down with OPP. Darren kills me in these lives. Like
I've been seeing some of the comments. He's talking about the sequence. I see the sequence about that girl and her sequins. Sequence. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I would say, Ram, is time is only on our wrists, right? Whether it was last year, whether it's 6 months later or 12 months later that the book eventually comes out, this is you. This is all about you. This is your work, your beliefs, your quality. This is RAM
Mhm.
that you're putting out to the world. So until you're 110% happy, time means nothing, right?
I'm glad you understand as an author yourself.
No.
100%.
Mate, so uh, I'd promise people, I started first writing back in 89. People were wanting me to get my stuff out since, like, you got to get this because it was helping them in their
Hmm.
thought. And I said, yep, yep, yep. But because I've got this very wild, extroverted personality and nobody knew this inner side of me, even family didn't know. It was me putting this side that people didn't know. I haven't published under my middle name because people don't know me by my middle name other than family. I had the cover of my first book tattooed on my chest, right? About
Yeah.
15 years. 15 goddamn years I've procrastinated about putting it. And I've had the picture of the cover, a portrait hanging in my wall for like 30 years. Finally, my first book I put out in July 21, right? 30 years the cover's hung there. That was done by a psychic artist for me with some of my poems sitting on a lap in a sealed envelope. 30 years, man. So because you've got to be ready to show that to the world, right? But
I'm
honestly,
excited.
I'm so glad that you're taking that time for when you're ready, man. That's good.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to hear more of your work. Whatever, pick a topic, genres. Just let's showcase your skills in such a wide variety of genres. Your choice, dealer's choice. Just
All right.
I was gonna say, like, we can start with the ones that make everybody want to rescue you, and the one that made whatever poems that you read that made me want to give you a hug and make sure Ram is okay. We can start with one of those, and then
All
you can
right.
go ahead and
So,
you can go ahead and rapid fire two to three
so
poems.
I'll give y'all what it was. When Jem met me, Jem wanted to give me a hug because it sounded like I've been through hell and back with love. Um, I was known as a heartbreak poet.
Yes,
Um, and I wasn't planning to do any of those, Jem. Now you throw me off. I'm joking. I
just do
have
that
them.
one and get back to the regular schedule program because I was not the only one in your DMs trying to save you, Ram. Don't act like it was just me.
No,
There's
it
a
wasn't
whole
just you.
coalition. There's
It
a whole
wasn't just you.
coalition like, okay, is Ram okay?
I don't even remember which one it was.
Just choose one of them. You know the ones.
Um,
And it could be a short one. It doesn't have to be a long one.
all right, I'll give you all this one. Lasting impression. I hold my breath, siphoning fragrant whiffs of our lang sying tussles upon satin skin under moonlit sheets connecting fingertips as we traced stars wallowing in euphoric cosmic heat. Ooh, the parfum, that lingering sweet, ambrosia-soaked lips trickle down, inducing heat, drowning in your pink eclipse quells the urge to breathe. But memories don't erase when you leave. They defile, they upheave, trapped in sonder my heart reprieves. If I could rive this contrived impression from my chest, would my mind still be alive and my thoughts be at rest? I must confess, you're the reason I still smoke cigarettes, as this inherent guilt bellows black holes of regrets, chokes upon charred lungs with thick yellow. For fuck's sakes, you were the one that left. I was treble and you were clef. We were music, symphonic melodies, a dynamic duet. So why does your presence still loiter on my breath? That dense, stale retrograde of a promise unkept, a wanton masquerade of a forever's charade.
Ram, there was a police helicopter. I think they were trying to find out whether or not you were okay. Because because there was one overhead when you were reading. Even the last line, could you repeat the last line for me? Because I love the rhyme scheme that you chose, and then
Mm.
your pronunciation of all of those syllables. So read that last line for me.
Why does your presence still loiter on my breath? That dense stale retrograde of a promise unkept, a wanton masquerade of a forever's charade.
A wanton masquerade of a forever charade. But forever's charade, those two words together, this like
Hmm.
put the nail in the coffin right there. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why all of us wanted to save Ram and still do. Because half of us don't believe that he's telling the truth when he says he's okay. Until you come up with a ring on your finger and a bride by your side, we're always going to assume that we need to go ahead and cut somebody up. That's we're just saying, just saying. Now back to the regular scheduled program. What we gonna share?
Ram, absolutely love that piece. The emotion from the first to the last word, let alone line, was felt.
Thank you.
And it's funny, we might even, there is that love that even other loves might come after, but that some things that never wiped out from the past, from that instance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Particularly when that has such a positive, strong impact in changing our lives. So a lot of my poetry is I started writing basically on this, where my life is going this way. I probably wouldn't even be alive today, or probably be in a jail. And then something happened that changed my life that way. It was short.
Hmm.
Some of those I'll never forget that, and that was like a damn long time ago. And there's been much water under the bridge since then. But there's things I still lean on, and you captured all that so well in that poem. The other thing I love with your recitals too is your timing, your cadence, you know, and the vertical dynamics as well. You know,
Hmm.
really, really promote in delivering that um, the
Emotion.
sentiment in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's one of my goals. I mean, as I said, like I did debate for years and stuff. And you know, when you did all these things that you remember, like when you were doing geometry, you're like, whenever the hell am I going to use this?
Hmm.
Ever in life? Or algebra, you're like, I've never used algebra ever since. But I did like debates in debate class, and I did acting and drama, and I'm like, hold on, this is I'm using this. You
Yeah.
know, the pauses, the cadence, the all these things I've learned at the young age. I end up still using it, and that's why I read so much, because I want to perfect it.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm not
Mm.
as good as Gemini and remembering everything and just doing all these things, but we're gonna get there.
What?
I aspire to be like you, Madame. Don't worry, I'll get there one day.
Stop. Because number one, I don't remember things. I have a couple of poems I remember and a whole bunch of freestyle, and that is
I
not.
know.
But it's not about me, Ram. May I have another poem, please? Whatever you were planning on sharing before I interrupted your thought process.
Yeah, I know you said you've got your life starting at 8:30. So right now, that's we've got an hour before your show starts. So if you need a rest, we got about 45 minutes at most to that way it gives you a bit of a rest and prepare for your live. Otherwise, half an hour to. So we've
I'm
been
good.
going for an hour and a half. So you've got another half an hour to 45 minutes. So let's hear some. And I want to hear a bit about this screenplay that what you're working on too. I want to.
Yeah, he's not
You don't
going to
have
care
to.
about
No, you
that.
don't have to tell me the theme. You don't have to tell
I
me
know,
the
I know.
story. More about what sort of target audience you're looking at, what sort of scale you're looking at.
Mhm,
You know?
mhm. Oh, definitely. I'll share. I'll share. I'm just being silly. Um, let's see. What do I share?
Now,
Um,
now y'all see him looking around. That's because he has volumes of poetry.
it is true. My book, my yeah. Y'all don't even want to see my desk. Um, All right, here we go. The penumbra of gilded pretense. I'll get one of the academia ones for you. See if you can jive with this one. And this is one of my longer pieces. I don't write long form. If y'all know me, my stuff needs to fit on one page usually. Um, that's part of the thing for me. But here we go. Is this karma calling? I see my reflection in your eyes, a glaring stranger in disguise, the swallowed token in a diner's jukebox. Do you remember me? This lasting impression drifts, and here I am, half accepting who you are. It's the piercing love that ignites my developing doubt. Where is the light? The duskiness fogs my receptors, and weariness waltzes with wonder. Speak to me like you used to. Meet me at the edge of consummation. Sunrise collides with my moon's waning dreams, and intuition impaired, a constricting chase to familiarity. The unanswered clamor of coaxing confessions, left letters left on tongues trained to harvest amnesia. I don't want to return to that zygote. And yet, here I am, gradually recreating history. Who am I? Touch me with your calloused memory between ribs and flesh. Hasten the perilous pathway of vengeance, and smirk and bask and revel in my remorse. A song lost on the battlefield of yesterday. Minefields strewn along darkened intentions, silhouetted sorries beset on the horizon, and the early birds are glutted. Heartlessness and retribution ricochets in these trenches built by the shovel called loss, time, and toxicity. Can you break my heart? Can you forgive me? There aren't many footsteps left in me, and these worn soles have already caused irreparable incisions. I am unrecognizable. Grief remains botched under the scalpel of promise. Masks are the penalty, reciprocity, the sentencing, the mirror melds with the illusion. The price of absolution is the golden rule, and the cycle continues. And the coins lay rusted in this prized abyss. Will I ever find peace? Will life ever again be complete? Ramrock speaks.
Now, I don't know if Rainier was typing, but I could not keep up. I love the way you lend qualities to something that belongs to something else. Calloused memory,
Mhm.
hands are calloused, memories are not. And like, oh my God, return to a zygote. Like
Mhm.
you you blew my mind because every time one came in, I was trying to hold on to it, and then it was replaced by another. I can see why you and Deep Thought connect the way you do, because you guys do the same thing. That the metaphors and the similes are just abound, and they hit after hit after hit like rapid fire. Beautiful.
You said I was typing. That's exactly what I was typing. Touch me with your callous memory, and then the rest of that sentence. Because and the other one was that retribution ricochets, and uh, I'd love to hear that the rest of that line between ribs and retribution ricochets between ribs. I mean, man, that was so powerfully done, so beautifully done.
It was heartlessness and retribution ricochets in these trenches built by the shovel called loss, time, and toxicity.
Yeah, yeah. Fucking
And
have,
then the alliteration,
yeah.
time and toxicity, just oh, and then the fact that you don't mess up any of those syllables. I am so annoyed with you. Where does your Caribbean tongue go when you read?
it's that's why. You remember in the first poem I wrote, you don't sound like the rest of us.
Yep, yep. Very true.
Um, yeah. This one, oh, you wanted to say something, Jeremy? I saw the
No, no,
no?
I
No,
wanted. Let's go. Let's get
I'm
some of
just
your
catching
poetry out.
I'm catching my breaths. You know I'm gonna need it.
This one is another, I'm not gonna preface it. Um, Working title. It's been working for quite a while now, but climbing family trees. Have you ever tried to harvest death? Tilled the soil long enough to uncover the ancestral agony that watered the weeds, dug far enough to unearth roots laden in anguish and disparity? You see, on nights like these, when I'm prompted by haunting memories, when all that circulates my cognition is slavery, I metamorph into Jack and trek along the tendrils of year 1526's beanstalk with calloused palms and a sweated brow. I sling my cutlass against every obstacle, every branch of inhumanity, and climb steadfastly, true to the innate hue black. I uproot the existence of the Anglo-Saxon giant and pelt it with power, pelt it with intellect, pelt them with the leftover cotton seed, and rise. My legacy is tattooed in the rings, so etched into the bark it bites the hands that misuse them. And at the summit, lonely ropes still hang. And as the noose sways on the gallows, it whistles in lamentation, a subconscious, lasting impression, a lead astringency of blood as it brims the throat, the dried memories stain the jute leaves of embridled innocence. We hum along to the Negro spiritual, obliging the worn, stifled voices that choked on the sight of finality. The rope becomes an elegy before an obituary. Its captive never warranted an interment. The rope is a portal to the dirt, a frayed link to the preserving death, where songs linger in the jaws of the branded and bewildered. Some evenings, when the wind from yonder quietened under the sycamore execution, you can hear the feeble echo of repentance. But the chorus never goes on. long enough for me to join along.
All right, man.
For the first line, or the first I was, have you ever tried to harvest death?
Mm,
Yes.
And then the imagery of the ropes whistling in the wind.
mm. And towards the end, the line about the sycamore, second or third last line, the sycamore.
Quieting under the sycamore execution.
Yeah, yeah. And the line that followed that, I mean, that's amazing.
And the sycamore execution, that refers to the tree, usually between that and the cedar, the glory cedar,
Mhm.
um, utilized for lynchings because the branches were so strong.
Mm,
Strong.
mm. Yeah, man, that's that there in itself. I can't wait for this book to come out, Ram, and I'll be getting it on my shelf damn quick smart and really can't wait
Mm,
because uh, a lot of the pieces that you shared, they're about very real issues, right?
mhm,
The love, that one that you read, that's a real issue, which is so relatable. The the injustices, be it racism, be it the killings, that's all very, very relatable. We live in it. So I really resonate with that sort of work because I'm living in life and appreciate poetry about the life I'm living in. Yeah.
that's part of my thing.
Yeah.
When I said if you have a soul, it should resonate.
Yep. Exactly right. Exactly right.
You know,
You know,
if you have a soul.
yeah.
Um,
I like poetry even on say for example on historical facts because it gives me an opportunity to learn from those mistakes. But I
mhm,
really, really love poetry about here and now issues,
mm.
here and now human issues.
I also love to have them juxtapose
Yeah.
um, with history and now. I wrote a piece. I wrote it for a publication.
Nice.
I entered it into something. I never got accepted, but I know why.
Mm.
I mean, it was it was it wasn't risque. It was very well manicured, but if you peeled away the layers, you would understand what the hell I was talking about. And I'm going to do that one quickly, just to give you, because you said that and it just reminded me, history and today,
Mm.
and how we spoke about it earlier, and like, yeah, we were fighting over these things in the past, and we're still doing it now.
Mm.
And that's why I ask, even in that, is this cyclical? Is this, they said what goes around comes around. Well, for a certain people, groups of people, it's constantly coming around. I don't like it never left. It might be hidden for a couple of years, or it might be masked as reparations. Don't get me started. But this one is titled "For Milk, for Meat, or for Wool."
Ooh, okay.
Imposters palisaded in the new country, fettered to the need of acceptance, rendered institutionalized hay to shroud fate, exploited grouping, extorted reasoning, comatic, plumped, unleashed promises with just enough slack to wallow carte blanche, prodded with purpose to nourish the progeny, rationed with a rationale of use and security until the teats ran dry, and the masses pined for the old country's shepherd's pie, sacrificial mutton wedged between the shear and the seamstress, once a ram, twice a lamb. What is freedom to a flock on a farm of gallows? Yeah, that didn't get chosen. I wonder why.
That last line alone.
Mm.
What is freedom to a flock on a farm of gallows? They're looking for you again, Ram.
You heard helicopters again? They're wondering, hey, what's going on with this guy?
That
Man,
was
All right.
that was
Enough
powerful.
heavy stuff, guys. Let's do some heavy stuff. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm joking.
no, it really shows. It shows the depth of your work, of your skill as an author, as a writer, but more so, what it shows me is the person within the RAM that we see. It's showing what are the most powerful things that dwell within that mind, within that heart. What are the things
Mm.
that matter to RAM the person inside, not the person we see externally.
Oh.
And that's what I'm really enjoying through your poetry. Um, be it the Walmart issue or be it whatever issue, that happens, right? I get that on the news as well.
Hmm.
But what does that mean to that ram inside? Getting to know that is what I'm really cherishing. Because I
Yes.
love people, I love learning people, I was studying
Hmm.
people. I'm quite often a quiet observer
Hmm.
and see a lot in their words, in their mannerisms, but then hearing their written, heartfelt poetry really gives me insight into the person within.
Hmm.
Really, man, to say that I'm pleased to know you, that I'm honored to have connected with you, and to be able to see this side of you is an understatement, brother. It really I mean it, because I see a soul that resonates so similar to even through experience, and then how I tick. I see a lot of. I'm seeing a reindeer in a ram sort of thought, and gives me. You remember I said before, a lot of my life I've felt like I've lived.
An air
I'm living in
nation.
the wrong time in the wrong
Hmm.
place.
Hmm.
Well, meeting and getting to know this a person like you that's ticking and works in the same way, I'm
Hmm.
saying, well, I'm not alone.
Mm.
Another soul
Mm.
out there, and that means a lot to me, Ram. It really does.
Mm.
Beautiful.
So thank you,
Beautiful.
Mm.
man. We've got 10 minutes before coming up to 2 hours. I'm happy to go even at 2.25 hours, but I don't want to cut you short or anything. So happy to hear another piece. If you want to share some of your lively, humorous types, whatever, or we can, man, because I can talk to you all day long and listen to your poetry. Just talk to getting to know that side that we don't see when you're hosting shows and all, right?
Right, right.
You're running mics. And this is why Gemini and us and I created this platform to really give the people like yourself, the Valeries, the Arsenio's of the world that do so much, just to really show that person inside. That's not a face
Yeah.
that runs lives and gives you prompts and done things. He's a human being, and let's get to know that human being. And today, I think we were blessed to be able to see that side of Ram that we don't see.
All right, let's get into some older stuff now.
Does that mean it's gonna be the love stuff? You have any love stuff? Because
like happy love.
Um, um, before the heartbreak that made you a smoker.
I love that. I love that. Okay, I'll give you one. Um, mm, I'll give you a nice one.
And while you're looking for that, thank you to everybody in the audience. Your comments and all that have been very enriching and very supportive. And I'm glad that you guys are getting just as much enjoyment as I am. And I'm sure Gemini is from hearing from this man. Your comments have been actually following through them, some really good heartfelt comments and resonate so well with what's been shared. Thank you for all your time as well. It's been really good.
Definitely.
Uh,
Thank you for coming.
yeah, thanks for coming and seeing my ugly mug, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Oh, stop. You know you're a Jamaican hot dog.
Heartthrob.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Jamaica's best.
oh man. Okay, here we go. For
Thank
you.
you.
You made me go into my Google Docs. That's intense. You know that, right? Within is the title. My biggest wish creeps in the seams of my lucid dreams, a perpetual tattoo inking while I sleep, etched so deep it sinks in like flashbacks. It's repeating, staining my reality as memory clings on creating who? Just the mere idea of you. My sun rises to your golden hue, dawn breaks the cycle of REM, and my tomorrows no longer seem blue. I want to taste the epitome of your construct. For when God made you, he himself was awestruck. You are the prototype of good luck. I want to be willfully wrapped in your being, be your living and breathing organism. I want to rapidly race rampantly through your veins, be the medicine that relieves your pain, be your lungs and desire to be your heartbeat. I want to make my forever's future complete. I'm not really sure if I'm making myself understood, but if love allows us, I should. I mean, I could, I surely would want to dwell within my biggest wish, my love, is to be your skin.
What?
That's a man in love. Beautiful, man, beautiful.
That's amazing because the skin is the largest organ in the human body. Look at Miss Betty. Miss Betty's like, what?
And
You
Kiki makes a
oh
very valid comment. Besides the tonal inflections, the cadence, the facial expressions that you put into your poem really also portrays that motion. And that's Kiki's spot on in a comment there. Yeah.
and I want to be the blood. You want the blood pump into her veins, but then you're like, no. I want to encapsulate all of this
I want to be
and
everything.
That's
I
The
it.
want to
la-
be your
the largest
skin.
organ.
Your skin. Like, okay. Okay. Okay.
He doesn't want just the gift. He wants the gift wrapping and everything. He wants to be
I
the gift
want it
wrapping.
wrapped. um,
That
I'll
was
give you.
beautiful.
Thank
That
you.
would get you a wife in any country. That was beautiful. Yeah, we need to go and put that out again if you're single. And I will go and take in all the requests.
Hey,
And they have to write a poem in return. They have to write a poem in return.
and then you have this poem.
Now, ladies out there, single ladies out there, before he gives us this next poem, if you're in the market, we've showcased the product. Please send calls through. We're taking applications. You heard the poem. Please send applications to Gemini or myself.
Well,
We'll filter them through
I
and we'll put you in the selection process. But let's do it before you hear this next poem, because I think we're going to
before
be in for a treat.
before y'all get all hasty, I did not ask the gentleman if he already has someone in that spot. We're not looking to knock anyone off of a pedestal. So Ram, are we open for accepting applications?
I'm open to see Wagwan.
You heard the man. Please send all applications to Gemini Fox Poetry. No periods, no spaces, no dashes. Just me
I
right here on
thought the man was
Instagram.
already married. I'm not married. Let me tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell before we can talk a little bit. I have a little time. Um, Instagram, and I've heard this so many times. Instagram pretty much flips the camera. So when they see when I'm on screen, this looks like my left hand. It's actually my right hand, y'all.
Mhm.
I don't. A lot of people don't know that. So right,
This is my left hand, though.
was that?
That's my left
This is
hand.
my left hand too.
Oh,
You get
oh.
what I'm saying? This is
Mm.
my left hand. But on screen, this looks like it's my left hand.
Yes, yes.
So people saw that because I wear rings on my right hand. A lot of people think I'm married. It's those rings that are confusing. You see, Erica, that's what I'm saying. That's what it is. It messes people up.
Yeah.
There's actually a filter that flips it, that makes it proper. But like it messes people up. I've heard that so many times. They're like, "Aren't you married?" I was like, "I was."
Well, married, dating, dedicated. I just don't want to be the one. I don't want to be the one. I ain't the one. So y'all heard it, ladies. There's no one in that spot. This is really
I never said
my
there's no one in the
birthday.
spot. I said I'm open to see
Oh,
Wagwan.
oh.
I am.
Ladies, there's still a lease out on the spot. If you have a better real estate, by all means, please go ahead and send me your poem so we can go over the poem because
This
you
is
have to
hilarious.
you have
And
to
I,
go and write a poem in return. You can't just become with no BS and you can't just show pictures of the property. Anybody can doctor anything. But send me a poem and we're gonna talk. All right, all right.
I think our marketing has hit all, attracting all kinds of prospects because, as Miss Betty said, cougar in the room as well, in the house. So we're attracting all kinds of potential candidates here, man. So we could have you married off soon. The book or the marriage come first, we'll see.
Oh, there we go. I am not single, guys. I'm just like let's not give anybody. Sorry, I'm not.
And
But
where hope is stripped away. But send your poems anyway. Maybe you can have a marriage in poetry, maybe make it a book.
hey,
The
I have a
responses to
lot of
Ram.
portrait. I have a lot of poet wives, so it's a different story. Poet wives is different from
Yeah, poet wives and poet concubines.
poet concubines. Um, I'll throw
What's
something
up
else.
now?
I'll throw us off again so that maybe you can check out for that. I'm a fight. Thanks, Amy. um, I suppose I have a tendency of start over. Sorry. I suppose I have a tendency to harp on endings before they begin, silently awaiting calamity to sneak in the side door. It must be the lack of luck tucked in the breast pocket of this feels all too familiar. I'm the rickety cog, screeching as the wheel turns, the rusted residue collected under the cycle, haphazardly manifesting disorder on life's assembly line. I've been here before. Time toys with these deep rooted emotions. Trial and error becomes cause and effect. The rigorous routine I always accept. I can't unthink the inevitable. Happiness is the carrot dangling on the end of yesterday. The future, my ex that left when I needed her most, and I suppose I shouldn't be hurt. I suppose I'm to be grateful for what it was worth. I'm still learning to navigate life. How can I avoid tomorrow when all I want to do is sleep? Nights cripple my thoughts. The only instance I get to forget. Nothing in this graveyard lasts. Neither memories or ghosts stay. I guess that's the result of my dismay. I've died once before, and here I am again, bleeding on pages of old. I'm so cold, and the light is drawing nigh. It's near. Maybe God sometimes gives us more than we can bear. Pause.
Why did you write that? Because I remember this. This is this seems all too familiar. I remember the time. Was that the prompt?
I think the prompt was I don't remember what the prompt was, but it was a prompt piece. You're right.
I
And
remember
then I
that
played around
poem.
with, and then I fell in love with it. So
I particularly love that line, harps on endings before it begins.
mhm.
Through my travels of those times there, I was saying goodbye before I said hello.
Oh man, tell me about it.
Yeah,
All right. Um, I'll do a fun one, and then um, I gotta go and get
yep,
myself together. Get
yep.
myself together. A fun one. Yeah, let's do this one. Um, I read a lot. Okay, this one is titled Entangled Entrapment.
Love the title.
I think I've heard it before, but I'm excited all nonetheless.
Remnants of past prey, scattered in unison, cascaded victims, swaddled tightly, presumably peaceful. Like me, they probably sought refuge, traversed upon eggshell white walls with silted souls yearning for a baptismal cleanse from mommy longlegs. Her posh countenance hypnotized the roaming traveler's tumultuous turmoil with 8 wheedling vows, a constricting delusion of permanent commitment, My vulnerable plunge into her deceptive everlasting left my heart limboed in her cranny of illusions. An ensnaring awareness beguiled me, that crippling trap of belonging exposed to the petty palps. I prayed for sanctification as each fang pierced derma, a frigid sense of intimacy entered me. It's been so long since such an intercourse. I began to swell with false excitement, for this love affair began to deplete me.
Hmm.
Numbness commenced at every entry wound, and as her venom made its way through my nucleus of promises, each hopeful sentiment disintegrated. Elated yet regretful, this was the beginning of my demise. Her cobwebs are laced, veils spun around my desolate carcass, hollowed out to nourish her feasting hobby. I finally found my purpose, now trophied amidst the rest of her memorabilia, emptied. Yes, the sex was good though.
Love it, love it, love it.
Hey, she was a spider. She poisoned you, sucks you dry. But okay. Anyway, Ram, leave that alone. Leave that, Ram, Ram. Leave that alone. It's just a double entendre and a Freudian slip. Just leave that alone.
That entendre was placed in there on purpose.
No, it was not. No, it was
So
not, because that's what the spider does. It spins its web. And anyway, we're not going to talk about Ramrock Speaks. I want to
yeah,
thank you for accepting our invitation to feature. Thank
anytime.
you so much. Like, with everything you do, you poured all of yourself into it, and we really do appreciate. Um, and I'd like to thank Rainier for always keeping us on track. Because as far as like reaching out and reminding and stuff like that, um, I don't do that very well, and he takes care of all the flyers. So we make a perfect team. Um,
Y'all do.
so
Y'all
That
thank you,
do. I
Rainier.
loved it. Thank y'all for having me. Listen, what y'all are doing is amazing. The For me, like I left work early today on purpose so that I can be home and prepped and ready. And I went to work early today for that reason, so that I could leave early. Uh, all I heard was intercourse in that point.
Miss Betty, Miss Betty, Miss Betty.
Hey, she wasn't lying. It was playful. It was a playful piece. Um, I'm gonna I don't know, like I, I was gonna share one more before I leave. Um, mm, give me a genre, somebody. Just there's a closing piece that I wanted to do, but I changed my mind. My mind went somewhere else. I want y'all to give me a genre, and
Food. Do you have any poems about food? Oh Lord, don't.
you sure you want a poem? You remember you get super cringy around those poems, so
I just remembered as soon as the words left my lips, I remember Mr. Witz's fruits and veggies, and I regretted it.
You
Um,
get Steve's thoughts by Steve said a limerick.
okay, yeah, go with Steve. Thank you, Steve. I love
a
you, Steve.
limerick. The only limericks I've ever written was when I had Steve as a guest on Music Saturdays back in the day. Is the food sensual? Yeah. So I don't know where that is right now. I can't find that.
Oh Lord. Thank you. Okay. Oh,
No,
just
the limerick. I don't know where the limerick is. I know where the food. I know where the food is. All right, I'm gonna do this one. It's a mixture of food and summer because
okay.
it's winter here now, and I know it's summer where you are, Rainier, but it's winter here and it's cold as hell. So it's good to remember these. I'll leave this with y'all. Miss Betty's here. This Miss Betty and Brooklyn in the house. This is for you, Gemini. Y'all already know what it is.
I'll mute myself so I don't interrupt your poem.
Rum, rum, pineapple, mangoes, yachts, boats, seagulls, swimsuit, bikini, salt, water, ripples along your expanse, weaving my name as it wisps through the fragrant air, cresting upon your sun-kissed melanin. It finds refuge as it meanders amongst your oceanic eyes. Do you mind if I'm obliged to taste the contents of your mind and consume all the sap that trickles from your bark? I'll be sure to bite. Can I set up camp on your plot of land, pitch a tent and kickstand? I plan to stay a while. Do you mind? 'Cause summer sits between your legs and I would like to frolic through your thighs. Can I split the frontier to find some shade? I promise I will misbehave. Do you mind? It's kind of getting hot out here. I'd rather perspire whilst you're gasping for air inside until you sprout. October rain, I'm relief from your pain. Do you mind if I play? Do you mind if I stay? Do you mind if I may decide to make you mine? Your body is the reason you are my favorite season. So do you mind? Do you mind? Do you? Paul.
Why are you looking this through? I repeat the question.
Miss Miss Betty put in her grave. Move out of the way, Gemini and Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
This one's for me. Sorry. Wait, wait, wait. Between my thighs. No, no. Y'all don't go nowhere. Uh, Miss
What
Betty,
is
you've been hilarious. That
what? Where you gonna
line,
put the? Go ahead.
that line. I want to taste the contents of your mind, man. That's beautiful. Love it. You know.
And I
Um,
thought like this is gonna be a wholesome poem. You want to taste the content of mine. Then you talk about
And
setting up a
that's
kick. Then you talk about setting up a kickstand. Where you gonna put your
on your
kickstand?
plot of land. It's summer, it's beach. I don't know where your mind went. I was really talking about tents and
Gemini
um
was starting to blush there for a minute.
Thank you. Look, chocolate doesn't turn color. We just melt. Half
we
my
melt.
face is gone.
We melt.
uh,
Um Another thing I never got to talk about, and I'll share that. Why what is my catalyst for writing besides the need for community and the need for change and the need to leave a legacy and a voice is I'm a huge fan of ballads and R&B and soul and music on a whole, and you know, people like Babyface and the oldies, man. You know, yeah, I remember I watched the Arsenio show, and he said Anita. Like, also a huge fan of Anita. I'm a huge fan of when music, when there were writers
Mhm.
in the
Mm.
songs. You know, like the old school, the Michael Bolton,
Yeah.
the real raw,
Sinead
you know,
O'Connor.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the artistry and the lyrics behind it, and that's what also made me fall in love with words.
Mm.
Um, yes, put to a tune and behind melody can does so much, but this is where it birthed, and poetry's in everything.
Mm.
Um, yes, since COVID we've grown huge, and we're multiplying and we're maximizing on the time that we had on the lives, but poetry is in everything. Poetry is music.
Mm.
Poetry is life. Poetry is you walking down the street. Poetry is you falling asleep. There's poetry in everything, and I just want to continue that. I want to keep that vibe. I want to build. Um, is missing these days. Yeah, grown man. Yeah, it is missing. But listen, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're keeping it alive. We're here
Mm.
for the vibe. I want to thank y'all for having me. When Gemini.
I
I want
think
to
she
thank
swiped
y'all.
herself off.
Yeah, she probably did. It happens. I'll wait until she comes back, and then I'll say my final goodbyes.
While we're waiting for Gemini, Ram, heartfelt thanks, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on here. And
Listen,
this does not have to be the last time either, right? Once your
no
book's
sir.
out, that let's bring it out. And once your book's out, and we'll
And
have
we can read from the
another.
book. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
folks, thank you very much to everybody in the audience. You've really enriched this show. I apologize for my co-host who managed to stay on the screen without swiping herself off till the very end, and then she went and swiped herself off. My apologies. Uh, I'm constantly apologizing
Why
for
you
her.
apologizing? Excuse you. Excuse
But
you. I'm the one that fell off the face of the Instagram earth.
yeah. But I was just saying to Ram Gemini that really loved having him, but it doesn't have to be the last. Once his book's out, we can always bring him back in there and continue this journey, this discussion. Ram, the discussions, the poetry was amazing as ever, as we all expected. But I really also loved the discussions and getting to know that inner side of you, what drives you, and thank you for everything that you do and making everybody feel welcome. And I'm glad that we could offer this small gesture to showcase you on this show and share sides of you with the audience who know you from your own platforms and all that as you host. So
Um, Gratitude, 100% gratitude. And yeah, y'all know where I am. Y'all know where to find me.
yeah,
Y'all can find me on Mondays. You can find me on Wednesdays. I haven't been on Original Thought on Sundays in a while because the weekends are kind of rough. For the last couple of weeks, it's just been rough. So
yeah,
I may come out with something else later on, an Original Thought later. But find me on Mondays, on Portrait Battles, Music Monday. Find me on Wednesday with Wagwan Wednesdays, where we do late night open mic and shenanigans until the wee hours of the morning or the night for some. And tap in with me. My DMs are always open. Y'all know this. Um, Even if it's just to be a air or a confidant or just to mentor or catch me on StreamYards on my channel. Follow my channel. I have a channel. If y'all ever want to just write and chill, I host those spaces as well. Um, yeah, this
mm,
poetry thing ain't going nowhere for me. I'll be there till I can, and when I can't write no more, I will be speaking it. until my last breath. This is where the
Amen.
poetry. This is how it is. So thank y'all for having me. Ramrock Speaks, Ramon, Ram, Raymond. I get my name gets butchered. Y'all call me all these different things, but Ramon, Ramrock Speaks. It all goes. I love y'all. I love the community, and thank you guys again for having this. This has been such a pleasure. I've gone over. I should have. See what time it is? I should be like on my way to an event, but it's okay. It's a network mixer. I'll be there all night. And then I can go have some drinks. So thanks for this was a great Friday night. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ram. Heartfelt thanks, mate, and good luck tonight. And thank you, everybody in the room. Thank you, Gemini. Until next time, next week, stay
See
safe,
ya.
stay
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Thank you,
Bye.
Thank you,
bye.
Radio. Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.